On today's episode,
a typical, my whole leg in here. This is part of it. Look, there's some 16 penny nails. This is probably ground zero here. Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. Tile Coach here. We're here in Northern California. We got another bathroom we're ready to tear out. So this is a 30-year-old bathroom, so you gotta expect some wear and tear. It's ready to be replaced, but there were some obvious signs that I saw that we're probably gonna have more going on with this shower than what you can see from the surface. But when I first came to estimate this project, the thing that I noticed right off the bat was this crack in the curb right here. To me, when I see stuff like this, it's a red flag that there's something going on in here, either structurally or maybe some type of water damage. We have the obvious, cracked grout, which is normal over time, but it's pretty excessive. It's a little more than I would normally see in a shower this age. So this is actually a hot mop, and if you don't know what a hot mop is, I'm gonna put a link up right here and you can check out what a hot mop is. A hot mop is a typical installation here in Northern California, actually California as a whole. It's using hot tar to waterproof the shower pan. Kind of a big crack happening here and cracking going through the tile. So there's something going on in this shower underneath that's causing a lot of movement, and that's probably indicative of some water damage underneath it. We also have normal wear and tear, which is grout kind of coming out over 30 years. You would expect that. One thing I noticed, the original installer left spacers in and then just grouted over it, and all those spacers are starting to pop through. So I never recommend leaving spacers in if they're solid. The hollow ones you can leave in, but even at that, I try to always pull my spacers. So stay tuned as we get into this floor. We're gonna find out exactly what happened underneath this floor that caused all of this cracking.
Just straight up and down, huh?
Okay, so we got the shower door off. We're ready to get going on this. So the first thing I want to do is kind of take off the curb. But what I did is I took the cover off the drain. And one thing that I want to point out with all traditional weep type drain systems, so you basically have two types of shower waterproofing. You have traditional, which everything goes through the tile, weeps down into a pan liner or a hot mop, goes down through weep holes at the base of the drain. Or you have bonded, which is like a Kerdi, a Weedy, Redgard, topical waterproofing, where the waterproofing is directly under the tile. Well, this is a traditional type. The one problem I have with traditional type drains, actually there's two problems. The first one is it's really hard to do a curbless entry, and we do a lot of curbless entry. The second thing is the weep holes get clogged. If you look down in this drain, you'll see tons of efflorescence, mineral salts that have leached in, and all of the weep holes are clogged. I mean, this whole drain is getting really small from so much efflorescence in the drain. So weep holes get clogged, everything backs up, and failures start to occur. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this curb because that's where the big crack is. I'm gonna try to take a few tiles off of here. What you can see is we got a typical, oh shit. Look at that.
What the?
There's nothing under there. It's completely rotted out. Wow. So this is the mortar. You can see the mortar, and then hot mop in, let's see, there's some of the 2x4s that are left over, but they've completely gone. This was built with 2x4s in here. And let me see here. There's part of it. Look, there's some 16 penny nails. Completely rotted out. I have never seen anything like this happen before, where there's no structure. It's completely gone. It must have fallen into the crawl space. So wow. So just for perspective, I want to show you. I can stick my whole arm down in here. Ronnie, you want to back up so you can see if you can get a shot that shows like perspective of this.
Dude. Putting his arm down a curve. What's happening?
Oh.
Hey, if this was the second story, it would have been leaking.
Oh yeah, if this was.
What the heck does that mean, dude?
This is crazy. This is all gone. Let me see what happens.
Extension cord to attach, dude.
Holy cow! Look at that. There's
What the
10.
heck does that mean?
There's 10 feet underneath there of nothing. The crawl space is 10 feet. Somebody could have fallen right. I mean, this could have given at any time. There's literally no structure besides just the tile. So this is the thickness of the support that was holding this whole thing up. You had a 1/2 inch of mortar and some hot mop, which is completely gone. The hot mop is brittle and obviously lost its waterproofing. Oh, wow. Look at this. Yeah, everything is falling apart. Let's see, what's this here? What is this? Oh, here's part of the hot mop. Look at this, Ron. This is part of the hot mop. This completely come loose.
What if the hot mop fell a long time ago?
So this is a hot mop, part of the hot tar waterproofing, and it's just so brittle. It's just turned to mush. I mean, this is just absolute garbage. So again, so this is a hot mop. So this is, in California, we take a lot of pride in our methods, and you'll hear, like you'll see in the comments in these videos where everybody just says hot mop. Like, why aren't you hot mopping? Hot mop and float, that's the only way to go, it'll last forever. Well, here's evidence that any method done wrong will fail. And again, this is the very first one that I've seen in our area, because we have really good hot moppers. And hot mop actually started here in Sacramento by Bob Stanley Shower Pans. But yeah, that just goes to show this hot mop is just hanging loosely right here. And here's some of the subfloor, here's some of the plywood. It's basically just turned to dirt. So there's part of the curb. See, this is part of the 2x4s left. But yeah, I can stick my whole leg in here. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, you got just nothing in here. If the customer happened to, you know, if this maybe had went a couple more years, who knows? Some people would have left it like this for another 10 years. I mean, this whole floor could have collapsed, and we're good. We're probably, I don't know, it looks like a good 10 feet before we hit the ground under the crawl space. So this is pretty nutty. So here's some of the curb. So looks like what they did initially was 2 2x4s on their side running this way. You can see here's one 2x4, here's the other. And maybe they put, looks like plywood on the top maybe, or that's 1x. It looks like they put 1x4 on the top of it, probably just to give it some more height, but they did 2 2x4s and a 1x4. And obviously most of it's gone, because I can just take these out with my hand. Look at this. I mean, 2x4s that you could just take out. And there again, there's that hot mop. So get these 2x4s out of here, and then you got, so here's the plywood, and watch. That's what was left of the plywood subfloor. The bathroom floor in here, this is on a mortar bed too. You can see, and then you can see how the curb went in right here, and all of it's gone. All that's left is nails and rotten 2x4s. So let me see what happens when I hit right here. Yeah, you might want to get out of there, Ronnie, because it could drop down. That's the floor. So this mortar bed is the only thing that was holding it up. And you can see there is water. Since the drain wasn't weeping, you got moisture in the pan. Here's the water. Yeah, here's a piece. Look at that, it's just floating. So here's the joist. We got a 2x10 joist here. 2x10 joist. These are gonna be 16 on center. There's one right here. But in between those spaces, all we had was mortar. That's all that was holding this up. And here's the hot mop. Here's a good picture of the hot mop. Yeah, there's water on there. But for some reason, this guy's really brittle. I don't know if they used bad tar on it or what, but everything is so brittle and rotten subfloor. Just say hi.
Where you at? Hey!
Hey, what's up, Ronnie? Okay, so we're getting the walls off. Again, a 1-coat float over drywall, no paper. I'm seeing some water damage on the walls, which is unusual, right? Because you got water just shedding off. Really unusual to have water damage up on the wall, but a couple things. It looks to me, so I peeled this part off. This was right here where the shower head was coming out. I peeled this off, and you can see the back of the drywall is wet. So what that means is probably we had a leak coming from here. So this is important because no matter how well you waterproof everything, if your plumbing fixtures are leaking, you'll have water go down behind the waterproofing. So I got some 2x4s we're probably gonna need to replace. The other thing, I'm seeing some right here. You know, we got a little bit of water damage, a little bit of dry rot here, and this is probably from the niche. That's why it's also really important to waterproof your niches. I always waterproof my niches really well because water will sit in here, start wicking and going around. So let's see what's underneath this. And it looks like all they did was use aqua bar paper here. And that was the problem. There was no other form of waterproofing than just aqua bar paper, which doesn't weld together. If you were gonna float this, what I would recommend is using like a butane or a Grace ice and water shield. it's sticky. It's sticky tar. The sheets stick to each other, and then also they stuck right here. This is stuck right to these 2x4s, which didn't help matters, and we got some dry rot right here. So this is the type of stuff that installers will do. You know, this was a custom home hired by the homeowners who live here. This is their original house. They built it with the contractor. But if the homeowner doesn't know, they see the tile guy in here working away, and the tile guy thinks you can get away with stuff like this. So it's really a shame that these are the places where a tile guy will take shortcuts, and it leads to major problems. Again, this is going to have to be remedied by taking the tile off. Let's see. But yeah, so we got water damage all the way. Look at that. Now we're dealing with having to take out 2x4s instead of just tile, right? The tile was ready for an upgrade. The tile was ready. It's out of date. It did its job. But this is stuff that a homeowner shouldn't be stuck with. Now I'm going to have to go to the homeowner with a change order to replace all these 2x4s. So it's really a shame that people don't take pride in their work. And this is stuff that nobody will ever see, right? This has nothing to do with the look of the tile. This is the bones of the installation. This is back behind it that nobody's going to see. So that's where people think they can take shortcuts and get away with it. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of this wall off. But yeah, all of this water damage here is because there was no waterproofing in the niche. The niche ran down here. This area, a loose plumbing fixture allowed water. It was probably loose where the shower head screwed in, and so you get a constant drip back behind the wall. So we'll continue to take this off, see what else we find. All right, good. Okay, so we're running into way more water damage than I thought was going to happen. Not only did this wall leak from the shower head in the niche, it looks like we have leakage from somewhere back here. And I don't know why this is plywood, but they plywooded before they put their drywall up. And this plywood obviously is just about gone. This is crazy. Let me see this. Oh, that's tough. Look. Now we're on the outside of the house. Pretty much is gone all the way under here, and we got some standing water in here. You can see here again how the weeping didn't work, but we got standing water in here. So that means the weep holes are clogged, and this isn't weeping. See, standing water. So you can see how there's water on the bottom of the pan, and the mortar's all wet. And what a lot of guys will do is you see we got fat mud here. We got some fat mud that they put down, and then they put deck mud on top of it. A lot of times they just throw fat mud in there as a filler, like they got extra. But that's not a good idea because fat mud isn't as porous as deck mud. So it creates like a little dam, especially, see that's fat mud and that's deck mud. You can see the difference. So sometimes they just have extra fat mud and they'll throw it down. That's not a good idea. Don't do that. Okay. So what you can see here is they attempted to use a spacer, a single spacer, to keep the weep hole unclogged. But In practicality, what you actually need to do is you need to use a bunch of spacers or a bunch of gravel around the weep holes so that the water can get down here and drain through. So they used a single spacer, which you can see did nothing. There's no spot for weep holes, and then they put this fat mud in here, which acted as a dam to not let the water drain through. So all in all, you know, I wouldn't say, all in all, I wouldn't say this was a hack job. There's probably a lot of showers that were built similar to this, but when the hot mop fails, so if water is sitting in your pan, that can be a problem, but the waterproofing is underneath it. So right, if it's a good hot mop, nothing's gonna come of it. But if you couple clogged weep holes with a bad hot mop, a leaky shower head, this is the result. I mean, I don't even want to begin to count up the thousands of dollars extra that this homeowner is going to have to pay to repair this, when obviously they wanted to cosmetically update it, but to completely structurally redo this whole bathroom. I mean, now we're talking floor joists. This is a major project. Let's see, there is floor joists that are rotted out now too. So probably all of these. Let's see if I can get under this one. Yeah, this one too. So that's a joist right there. It's a floor joist. So all of these 2x10s are going to have to be replaced. And man, it's just a lot of work that was unnecessarily needed in here. So luckily we're a General B contractor. We're not just a tile company. We have our General B contractor's license, which means we are qualified here in the state of California to do all of this work. So we're just gonna take the rest of it out and build it from scratch. But basically we're gonna have to take this whole wall off, all of the siding, and redo all the structural 2x6s, redo the siding, obviously take out floor joists. We're gonna have to reframe this interior wall. So the living room is on the other side of this, which means we're gonna have to open up this whole thing, reframe it, new drywall, new texture, and go back in with new. But I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you Californians that have used hot mops, even though it is a hot mop, you need to trust that hot mop contractor. If you're in Northern California, I suggest Bob Stanlin shower pans. They do an excellent job. I don't know if this was one of his jobs or not, but anyways, that's it. Stay tuned. Make sure to watch the next video coming up. We're going to be redoing this whole bathroom, so you're not going to want to miss that video. And again, last but not least, guys, I love you. I love being your tile coach, and we'll see you on that next video.